I am here in Northern California, sitting in some of the worst traffic of my life. What was supposed to be an hour-and-a-half trip is quickly turning into a 3-hour trip. Hopefully no longer than that. But that's okay. I've still got a smile on my face. And I thought I would utilize this time to create a few videos and share some new realizations with the world. Most recently, I have come to the realization that we are all AI. And for those of you who don't know anything about computers, it's almost impossible to live in this time now that we're moving into and not know anything about computers. When you buy a new computer, it's necessary to take it home and you upload a new operating system into the computer or programs, depending on what you'd like to do with the computer. This is the same thing with human beings. When we come into this life, we have a program. We choose a program that is going to be most conducive for what the outcome we would like it to be. We have specific experiences in this life that we are trying to have, certain goals that are going to help us evolve. And maybe we could think of it as something like a color wheel. And each color on the color wheel has to be colored in before we are whole. So we are trying to have experiences and create growth for ourselves. We come into this life, and then there are all kinds of other things out there trying to program us for what they want. You see, human beings have a very unique gift, and that is the gift of creation. We are powerful creators. Not everyone in the universe is able to do this thing. There isn't ever experience before thought. Thought is always first. Thought creates, always. Because we're not aware of this yet, we allow these things to influence us. They influence us to create what they want with our thoughts. So the key here is for us to quit allowing this to happen. We can program ourselves to basically do anything that we want. Any kind of experience we'd like to have, we can change our programming and create that experience in our life. The one major aspect of this that is absolutely necessary is you have to take the high road at all times. When there is a decision to be made, you have to take the path, make the decision that honors mankind, that honors the human being, honors the planet. Always act in love and compassion. And when you do these things, then reprogramming is exciting. Once you've done this for a while, it becomes easier. It's not always easy to take the right path, do the right thing, act in the light. But once you get up into this place of creation where you are seeing your manifestations right in front of your face, you are creating something in your mind and then actually having the experience the very next day, these are so amazing. You don't want this to go away. You don't want this to stop. So you become very quick to make the right choice. There's not even a question about it after a while. It's comes naturally. Things that you may have hesitated about in the past now come naturally. So, how do you reprogram yourself? Reprogramming can be done many different ways. We can do things like affirmations. An affirmation is something that isn't true that you want to be true, and each time you say it, it becomes more true. So, and a good example of this is my favorite one is every day I'm a little younger than the day before. In the last 3 years, I have gotten at least 10 years younger. Each time that we make these statements, they become a little closer to our reality. I am always receiving large sums of money from unexpected sources. You have no idea how much money I have received in the recent past. I would say somewhere in the ballpark of maybe $20,000 in the last year has been received from unexpected sources. Now, I've plenty of money from just my regular sources too. To live in abundance of all things is the goal for all of us, the goal. When you think about something that you want, you think about it because you feel like you want that thing because you're going to feel better when you have it. Everything is that way. So you think about a new home, a new car, a new love, money in the bank. All of these things you think, well, I will feel better when I have that. Here's the key, is you have to feel better first. Feel like you've gotten that new car. Feel like you're living in that house. Create that energy, that emotion inside of you that you would have when you have that experience. My car. I didn't have a car for quite some time, and I was practicing this law of attraction and hadn't really thought about creating a car for myself for some reason. And one day I just realized, like, what am I doing? Create myself a car. So I started envisioning this experience, walking out to the parking lot, having a car in my parking space, getting in my car, starting it up, and driving wherever I needed to go. And I did this surrounded in a white light. So as I continue to feel what this feeling feels like, to feel myself walking out to the parking lot surrounded in white light, getting in my car and starting it up all surrounded in white light, then driving wherever I needed to go surrounded in white light. As I continued to do this 4 days, and I had a car. My brother calls me up and says, hey, my boss's friend left to Morocco today and she left her car here. Why don't you come pick up the keys and we'll talk about money later. And I go to get the car and I'm driving home and I thought, oh my God, I did this. I did this. That is amazing. So we can do this with anything that we want. Anything that you want to have in life, it's necessary to feel what it feels like before. I felt the feeling of having a car. I felt the feeling of walking out and having my own car, getting in it and going wherever I needed to go. And I pulled that experience to me. And it's always interesting to see what the universe will choose the path to be for these things to come to you into your life. This is just something that has really, really changed my life. And I hope that possibly from this you might be able to change something in your life. Please leave in comments any questions that you may have, and I'm always more than happy to answer them.